Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake goes by.
Wake your punk ass up. That crust out your eyes.
But Alice's greatest adventure has just begun.
Yeah. Wow, I'm on at the edge of my seat right now. What a great story being told by a terrific voice. John Lithgow has joined us. I'm a big fan of yours. I know you're here to talk about Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, which is premiering on ABC Thursday night. And you played the White Rabbit, right?
Yeah. Actually, it's already been on a couple of times. You got to catch up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been watching, man.
That's all right.
Okay, damn it. I'm sorry,
right.
John.
You'll pick it up in no time.
I'll be watching it this week, this Thursday.
Okay.
All right. Now, you play the White Rabbit. You take so many different types of roles. What appealed to you about doing this character's voice?
The White Rabbit?
Yeah.
He's a kind of cool character, especially they've expanded it from the White Rabbit in Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. He's a kind of rascal character, unpredictable. He's got a lot of mysteries that get revealed in the course of all this storytelling over the next weeks. But the best part of all is I didn't have to show up. I could just record it in a sound. I've never even met all these actors that I'm working with.
Really? So
they have to work 14-hour days in front of a green screen in Vancouver, Canada. I just go to a recording booth somewhere.
And then you just do your vocals and send in MP3s.
I literally phone it in.
You phone it in?
Yeah.
Wow.
It only just occurred to me, but that's what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing. So you don't get a chance to meet all the actors. And
yeah.
What do you think of the show? Have you watched it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
You got to check it out. It's great. It's kind of television fantasy. They take out the story of Alice in Wonderland and take off from that. And the White Rabbit, I have to say, is an extremely cool character. Almost all the work is done by the animators. I just lend the voice.
You just lend the voice. Now, the White Rabbit, he's not a villain. Is he?
I'm not going to answer that.
You're not going to answer that? Okay. Because
whenever I play a villain, I play him as the hero. So, so I have a slightly flexible definition of villain.
Villain. What do you think your most? Like, I saw you in Ricochet, Cliffhanger. You play the villain role really well. What was the first time you tackled that?
Well, actually, I've done 3 villains for Brian De Palma, and the first one was way back in 1974.
Yeah,
in Obsession, a movie that not many people remember, but was pretty great. And I don't know, I'm a character actor. A character actor is, by definition, someone who plays somebody very different from himself. So when they want murderers, psychopaths, serial killers, transsexuals, they come to me.
Damn, well, that's kind of weird.
It is weird, but it's it's I'm ready, willing, and able. That's what a character actor does.
You also play comedic roles really well.
Yeah.
You've been awarded for roles you've played as well too. Are you do you find yourself funny, or is it just if it's all in a script?
Well, I was certainly funny on Third Rock from the Sun, but it was brilliant writing. But there again, I saw it as a character role. I mean, Dick Solomon certainly was a character. But I think any comic needs great material.
Yeah.
The great comics make up their own material, but I had an incredible writing staff who wrote for me as if they just had the voice of that character. I just had to show up.
Wow. So you give a lot of credit to the writers. Yeah. You very seldom hear that.
And the creators, this husband and wife writing team of Bonnie and Terry Turner, who have ended up extremely good friends of mine.
Yeah.
I first met them when I hosted Saturday Night Live, and they were on the writing staff.
Wow.
It's all in the writing.
It's all in the writing. Saturday Night Live seemed like such a scary feat to take on, to be, it's such an iconic show.
Yeah. They ask you to do it, and you absolutely have to say yes, but it is terrifying.
Yeah.
They have an interesting way of getting the host through it. you're ticking down to 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And at about 11:27, there's like 12 people squashed into your dressing room, all of them with some piece of information they're giving you that you have to have in your mind. And this is just before you go out there for your monologue. And I'm sure they do it on purpose. So you don't even have the brain cells to be nervous. You got too much else going on.
Wow, they really do that? Like
oh, yeah.
3 minutes before live?
They hurl you out there.
Goodness.
Wow, John Lithgow has joined us. We're going to open up the phone lines and take your questions. And I know you also are author of children's books, and I want to talk about that as well. 888-742-3345.
You used to be a normal person.
Shelly.
Sit down, darling. Come on, okay?
It's Valentine.
Wow, that's John Lithgow right there in the movie The Twilight Zone, which your story was probably one of the most scariest ones. Like, it was, I was watching. I've been a Twilight Zone fan since, day one. I like the old black and white ones, the series.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when they make the movies, it's like I'm always extra critical. Like, can they really scare me on this? Your story scared me.
Yeah. That was the idea. Then I did my job.
You did your job, John Lithgow. You definitely did the job. And that's interesting. You was telling me off mic how they made your eyes swell up like that in that one scene when you caught eyes with that gargoyle or whatever it was on the wing.
Listeners, check it out. If you want to watch that movie again, just pause it when my eyes explode.
Yeah. That was some tremendous acting you did right there.
Well, thank you. It was great to hear it again after all these years.
We're celebrating your career.
Yeah, I sound good.
Yeah, you nailed it. You killed it. Just get it to rapping.
John, as a fan, I'm used to seeing you, in scary roles, as Sway mentioned earlier. But I'm curious at home, like, what do you do for fun? Do you cook? Do you play video games? Like, what do you do?
Well, I do cook. My wife and I are cooks together, and I don't know. I watch a lot of sports. I'm a lazy couch potato like everybody else when I don't have to be working. I have lots of hobbies. I do kids concerts for one thing, which is what
right. This book never play music right next to the zoo.
That's where the book came from. But I also paint. I'm a sort of hobbyist. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a painter. I didn't want to be an actor.
Wow.
I grew up in an acting family, and I didn't want to go into the family business. So I keep all those interests alive. Yeah. I guess I'm sort of restless character. If I don't have some project, I feel like I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, who's your sports teams? Like, who do you like?
Red Sox.
Red Sox.
I know.
World Series.
John, it was nice meeting you, man.
I'm so excied about tonight.
Yeah. All right, John.
Don't hate me. Don't hate me.
I'm not going to hate. I ain't going to hate the player. I'll hate the game.
Don't do it, Sway.
888-742-3345.
Well, John, going back to your character as the White Rabbit, I was interested in knowing, let's just say that you had to be reincarnated as any type of animal. Which one would you choose?
I think a rabbit's not bad. Rabbits don't seem to have a care in the world. They're sort of fretful, and I guess they always think they're late.
Yeah.
But beyond that, they seem to be fairly content.
I'm late.
Yeah.
They taste like chicken. That's the only worry they have.
I wouldn't want to be one of those rabbits.
You don't want to be one of those rabbits. We got John from Kentucky on the line. Say hello to John.
Sway, Heather B, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Awesome show.
Thank you.
Mr. Lithgow, I am a huge fan from a kid, Harry and the Hendersons back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And then also going through Twilight Zone. Also, my main role that I love you in is Trinity Killer and Dexter.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot express to you how good of a job you did at that role. And, just you saying hello, Dexter Morgan, has been absolutely insane.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you get about 3 or 4 of those moments in your career. That was one of the great ones. Hello,
really?
Dexter Morgan.
Wow. Yeah.
Did you see that, Sway?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm a Dexter fan.
Great.
Yeah, man. Looking at you, I've seen you in so many roles.
Yeah.
I feel like I know you.
Well, now you do.
Now I do, right? I know that you're a Boston Red Sox fan.
I just lost you.
Yeah, man.
Our friendship just went up in smoke.
It's just challenged. Real quick, never play music right next to the zoo. I like this book because I actually read it, and I like the fact that it really gives a lot of attention to instruments.
Yeah.
Okay, and I grew up playing. I first started playing the song flute Then I graduated to the alto sax.
Oh, yeah.
Then I went to the clarinet, and then I went to the bass clarinet, which is where I learned how to read and write music. And I feel like this book is good because, the younger generation now don't have access to instruments like, I did when I grew up, or maybe you did when you grew up.
It's a sad comment on our times that's true.
Yeah. Is that part of the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, very much so. I'll tell you one thing, you being an old clarinet player, it's, as you know, having read it, it's not for you.
No,
Sway. It's for children from 3 to 7 years old.
But I was hooked, John. I was hooked.
I'm glad you read it.
All right.
It's about animals breaking out of their cages at a concert at a band shell next to the zoo and taking over the orchestra.
Yeah.
A little boy seeing this and actually dreaming that this is all happening. The immediate inspiration, the inciting incident for this book, I was recording an album for kids, and the orchestra was warming up, and I heard the clarinet player clearing out his reed.
Wow.
And it made this wild squawking sound, and the idea went off like a bomb in my head. How about a story where the animals take over and try to play instruments?
Wow.
It was in that moment, It's the first time I've had a single instantaneous inspiration for one of my kids' books.
Wow.
And it works. It's a musical joke, as you know. I don't know whether you heard the CD, but you hear the sound of an orchestra playing as if it's animals trying to play their music, their instruments.
The yak is on the sax.
That's right.
The yak
the
is on the
bonobo
sax.
plays oboe, the ferret, the flute.
The
The jackal attacked the bassoon. It's got all of them.
You got all of it. How can people find this book if they want to get it?
Well, it's a Simon & Schuster book. You can get on their website or Amazon. It's real. It's my 9th children's book, and I think it's the one that I'm most delighted with. It's just. It tells such a funny story, and it gets kids so excited about the sound of instruments.
Yeah.
It's the musical piece. It's actually the narration to a orchestral suite I do in concert. It's composed by Bill Elliott, a wonderful composer.
Orchestral piece you do in concert. So how many you play instruments?
I play a really terrible guitar.
Guitar? Okay. All right. Well, at least you're honest with yourself. That's why you have acting, John. You got to know your lane.
I only play guitar for little children who are very undiscriminating.
Okay, yeah. They can't tell how great or not it is, right?
I'm no Clapton,
Okay. That's what's up, man. She said Clapton on Shade 4-5. That's brilliant.
How?
All right. John, thank you for coming through,
Such
man.
a pleasure. What a
Pleasure's
great
mine.
show. Thank you all.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you,
by.
John.
Make sure you guys on Thursday night you watch Once Upon a Time in Wonderland on ABC, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Thank you for your work. All right, and hopefully I'll see you again, bro.
Thank you for yours.
Right.
Thank you, Sway.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.